Hello world, welcome back to Razor RC. We are here in March of 2021, and something I like to do every year, pretty much on the anniversary of the channel, is to kind of do a channel update. So the anniversary is somewhere in the beginning of February. I'm a little bit late this year, but I thought I'd give you my thoughts on the channel, how things have kind of progressed, as well as do something new, which is a Q&A. So I did make a post on my community page on YouTube asking for questions, and I said answer them, so we'll get to that after kind of this little introductory part. But yeah, if you haven't already, definitely hit the subscribe button, the add notifications button, so you can find out about other things like this that I'll be doing in the future. I might try to do some more Q&As depending on if this is popular or whatever. If this is something people like me to do more regularly, I can do that. But yeah, first off, big thank you to all the subscribers, all the viewers, even people comment, all that good stuff. We grew the channel from about, I think it was a little under 10,000 a year ago, to like 9,700 subscribers, somewhere around there. We are now over, I think, 21,000 now. So yeah, nice, huge improvement in subscribers. Big shout out and thank you to all of you. Also wanted to give a shout out to all the supporters of the channel. So we are working with some companies more now. EuroRC, we got a 5% off coupon code. You can get some discounts on pretty much race vehicles, bashers, on-road, off-road, all that good stuff. Also Witch Racing, which I've equipped my T6.2 with. Got a Witch Racing motor, ceramic bearings, nice little fan. So we've been working with them for the last year. Also Gens Ace, who I've been using for like 6-7 years now. I've been running Gens Ace batteries forever. And then also Discount RC Store. So I've been running some Schumachers in the past year. My track switched over to carpet, and they've been very supportive, so I do appreciate that. Also, shout out to TDK Repair. I don't really use tire saucing anymore because it's illegal at my local track, but I do enjoy that brand quite a bit, and do recommend people buy their tire sauces and all their other greases and lubricants and stuff like that. Just a good group of guys. You know, honestly, people always approach me to, you know, I don't know, work with the channel and whatever, but I'm kind of selective and only, you know, I actually reach out mostly to the companies that I want to work. So definitely check out all those companies, and big shout out to them. Now, in terms of what's been going on in the past year, not so much racing. Obviously, my local track was shut down for probably about 8 months out of the last year, so did not get to do a whole ton of track driving, but did pick up some race kits. So nice it was fun to pick up the 22X4, a couple of Schumachers, the Cougar and the Storm. Also got an X-Ray, and as well as the B74.1. So a lot of new kits came out, and did get to drive them a bit, but like this T6.2 I have not gotten a chance to drive, so I'm super looking forward to doing that. Probably next week I will be able to drive this for the first time. Also, I got to try new brands. So Team Corrali is a brand I hadn't tried before. X-Ray, like I mentioned, I hadn't tried before. I got the Red Cat Kaiju. Didn't really have a real Red Cat before. So yeah, a lot of new vehicles. Got into 8th scale with the Arma Crane EXB and the Dementor from Team Corrali. So some larger vehicles, faster vehicles, a little more serious bashing. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that a lot. There's really nothing I enjoy more than trying out a new brand. So I'm going to continue that trend. Hopefully pick up some new brands, maybe a Kyosho, maybe a Serpent, maybe a Yokomo. I don't know. A lot of cool brands out there, a lot of cool kits that I'm interested in trying for sure. Now we'll get into the questions and answers. So I did post a question about, you know, what would you guys like me to answer? So I got a list here of about 25 questions. Not exactly sure, but we'll kind of go through them one by one. First up is Nikhil Bhatt. I think, hopefully I didn't pronounce that wrong. But the question is, how did you get into the hobby, and can you do a hobby room tour? Yeah, great question. In terms of the hobby, I grew up kind of in the 80s, so a lot of my friends at the time were getting Tamiyas like the Frog or Grasshopper or Subaru Brat or whatever. So around that time, kind of the explosion of Tamiya here in the United States, I never got any RC cars, but a lot of my friends did, and fortunately they were nice enough to let me drive them around. So, you know, so that's how I first learned about RC, and I always really wanted one, just didn't have any money to buy one. And then so fast forward 30 years, I've got kids of my own who are like in, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and I bought a Stampede 4x4 VXL. So that was about 7 years ago. Bought it for them, quote, and just driving it a lot. A local track opened up near my house, so I was spending, at least once a week there racing and stuff. So I learned how to race, progressed into buggies and short course trucks and, all kinds of different vehicles. And yeah, so that's what I've been doing kind of for the last 7 years. Just been learning and experiencing RC, and I love it, obviously. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So that's kind of how I got into it. In terms of a hobby room tour, I'm not going to do one today. I don't really have much to show you, but pretty much just have my garage full of a bunch of RC junk like all over the place. It's really messy and not very well organized. But one day I hope to kind of straighten everything out, make something a little more presentable. And yeah, definitely I'll give a little tour or something when that happens. Next question is from F. Garcia. Top 5 likes and dislikes in the hobby, and what is your dream RC for any manufacturer to make? Thank you for considering our questions. So yeah, this one I had to think about a little more. So I think I got a little list. So top 5 likes and dislikes. I'm not sure if you're talking about one particular thing, but I'll just kind of talk about the hobby in general and what kind of I enjoy or dislike about the hobby. So top 5 things. For sure, number 1 is a variety. RC has really exploded in a lot of different areas, a lot of different vehicles you can get. Obviously, race kits and stuff like this, but there's crawlers, there's bashers, there's speed vehicles, on-road, off-road, so all kinds of scales, large scale. So I really like the variety. That's what keeps me interested. I know some people just like to stick to one brand and kind of buy the same cars over and over again, but I really enjoy trying a lot of different vehicles, and that's what keeps it fresh and fun and exciting for me. Second is, I think it's a very positive sport in terms of, people are generally pretty helpful. We're all in this for fun, so I do like the positivity. Other hobbies, maybe people are a little more competitive, or people, I don't know, whatever reason, are not as helpful towards each other. But the RC industry, I think people really have a lot of fun, so I do like the positivity. I think that's a great thing about the RC hobby. Number 3, I would say, is that the cars have a lot of, a lot of stuff you can play with, a lot of tunability, upgrades. It's kind of fun because they're not just like basic cars that you buy from Toys R Us and you just drive them until they break. There's just a lot of tunability, especially with the race kits. I really like the tunability and the adjustments you can make. So for me, that's a big part of the fun. And what I really like about the hobby, there's probably nothing I like more than messing with a car and trying to get to drive better. That's kind of also why I do a lot of like tuning videos on my channel, just basic adjustments you can make to pretty much any car, whether it be a basher or a serious race kit or whatever. There's always little things you can do that without spending a lot of money that can get them to drive better. So I really like the tunability. Number 4, probably the technology. It's always evolving with better batteries, better motors, brushless, whatever, 4-wheel drive. There's always something changing in the industry, and they always get better and better and better. So that makes it fun, right? If the cars are always just kind of the same, they wouldn't be as interesting. But yeah, technology is always changing. And number 5, I would say it's just kind of a hands-on activity. Kids nowadays, or even adults, spend so much time on their computers, on their phones, just kind of online in the virtual world or whatever. It's kind of nice to be able to get your hands dirty, work with your hands, and do something kind of visceral, kind of in the moment and physical, as well. So that's one thing I really like about the RC hobby. It's maybe goes back towards stuff we used to do as kids, but before all this computer stuff, we were definitely doing things in person, I guess. In terms of the top 5 dislikes, number 1 I would say is kind of just the misunderstanding out there about RC. That's really why I try to focus on explaining things a little more in depth than most channels, or kind of share what knowledge I have, because I do feel like a lot of people just, I don't want to say ignorance, but they just really don't understand what their, how the cars work, or, problems to look out for, or even just, what you can do with an RC car. So that's really why I do the channel, honestly, and kind of why I started. It was just to kind of share the information that I was just kind of figuring out. And I feel like the more people understand the cars, the more fun they have with it. I see a lot of people get frustrated with these cars because they break, or their servo keeps going out, their motor keeps overheating, whatever. There's obviously a lot of different problems you can run into with RC. So anything I can do to kind of explain things and give people a better experience, I'm happy to do, and that's really why I have the channel. I'm not doing this to get famous or make money or whatever. Yeah, so that would be number one. Number two, dislike, I guess, is kind of the fanboyism. And I guess this happens in every hobby, whether you're talking about guitars or real cars or whatever. I mean, people have their brands, they like to stick with them, which is fine. But for me personally, I like to try out all the brands, I like to try out all the cars. I don't want to get, sucked into the stereotype that whatever Traxxas cars break a lot, or whatever the stereotypes are. I feel like you really need to experience it for yourself, figure things out, and I don't know why people have fanboyism, but it does exist for sure. So I'm not a big fan of that. Number three, probably dislike that racing seems to be declining. Even though I kind of stopped racing a couple years ago, it is the part I enjoy the most for sure. The race kits gather my interest the most. I always like seeing what companies are doing and trying different things and tuning them. It's a big part of the fun for me. But yeah, racing has been declining, I don't know, ever since I got started in the hobby. So I wish it would expand or grow a little more. Number four, I would say, is probably people just kind of jump straight into like way crazy cars. I don't know, you just see so much online, or even in person, people will just go out and buy like a 6S Arma as their first car, something and go like 60 miles per hour. Just way too powerful in my opinion for their experience level. So I wish people would kind of take it easy, learn a little more about the cars. It's not really because I'm like critical of them, but I feel like if you spent more time kind of learning and understanding the car, you would have a better experience overall. You'd break fewer things. It can get kind of expensive if you're always smashing these things up, and obviously you can do a lot of damage with them. So I feel like I wish people would kind of spend more time just kind of growing into the hobby rather than trying to, spending $1,000 and buying an X Max or something right off the bat. And I think they would just kind of enjoy it. So I mean, obviously you can do whatever you want, but that's just something that's kind of my recommendation. And the last thing is, I guess, more on the YouTube side. So I do feel like the YouTube ecosystem's a little bit off kilter. So only there's sort of incentives, I guess, for companies to give free stuff to channels. And I understand, I mean, I get some free cars and stuff too. But I don't want to call other channels or companies, because if I were in their spot, I'd do the same thing, and to some extent I do. But I do feel like it would be better for everybody overall if everyone was just kind of on the same playing field. Because when you incentivize people to only say nice things about your products, then it kind of does a disservice to everybody, in my opinion. I don't know. So that's why I have huge respect for somebody like Voss from Aussie RC Playground. He got free stuff from Arma, ahead of time, pre-releases, but he would let you know kind of his honest opinions. And so I try to follow in that vein and give you my honest opinions on cars, no matter what I get. So yeah, I guess that'll be my top 5 likes and dislikes. The other part of your question: what is your dream RC for any manufacturer to make? I don't know. I'm a huge fan of belt drive cars. So, if TLR updated their 22 Ford 2.0 to like a 3.0, I think that'd be cool. If Team Associated brought back the Pro S, or what's it called, the SE10 4x4 is like a belt drive short course, I think that'd be cool. So, I just like belt drive cars in general. I know most people don't, but, I guess that would be one of my dream cars. I don't know. I honestly haven't really thought about a dream car. People are pretty much making more than I can imagine already.